Hello beautiful people, and welcome back to my channel. If you don't know who I am, my name is Amy, and today we're going back to a cult classic and reading some Am I the Arseholes? Also, the lighting's going to be a bit intense because it's such a dark and gloomy and awful day that I can't use sunlight like I normally do, and I gotta use like a lamp. We'll get straight into it. First story. Am I the arsehole for accusing my mum of being selfish when she forces my twin sister's dad to include me? You read that right, my twin sister, 16 female, and I, 16 male, don't have the same dad. Mum slept with two guys close together and had us. DNA proved this too. It's always been a weird thing and we get a lot of questions in real life. I didn't know that was biologically possible. Okay. My sister's dad was willing to do the DNA test, took it and showed that he was her dad but not mine. Mine had to be dragged to court and he found ways around paying for me, and he and his family never wanted to know me. So my sister grew up with a father and I didn't. My mum didn't like it, and when we were young, 3 to 5 maybe, I apparently used to get so sad when she'd leave to go to her dad's house and I couldn't go with her. I don't remember it, but I understand why it would be true. So my mum told him that he had to include me, and he was like, no way. It ended up in court with mum wanting to take away his parenting time. The judge ended up saying that he didn't have to take me for his custody time, but he had to include me in any big days out with my sister or family holidays if she went along. He tried to get my mum to drop it, but she refused. So ever since about 5 or 6, he's been forced to include me in his life and sometimes in the lives of his family members. None of them want me there. I know they see me as this huge burden and I hate it. If I wasn't being ignored, they were just really short with me and made it so obvious they didn't want me there. My sister was torn between me and her dad. I told her that I didn't want to deny her dad, so she never let it come between them or us. When I turned 13, I tried to put my foot down with mum, but she told me I had to go. And she said to take his ass to court so fast if he let me wander off, and didn't make sure I was okay like he was my sister. So it's not even anymore that you want it, it's that your mum wants it. Right. There's only 2 years left, but I can see how much my sister's paternal side despises having me around. It sucks being forced somewhere that no one wants you, and my mum is still serious about taking it back to court. So I told mum a couple nights ago that it needs to stop and she can't keep doing this. She told me I didn't deserve to be left out because of her actions. I told her that if she can't make them love me, and they have shown me their disdain for me for over 10 years now, I told her to let it go, but she got so mad she wanted to yell and cuss at them. I told her to stop being selfish and forcing them to include me because she's the only one who wants that, not me. I told her I never wanted this. Mum broke down and then she told me it wasn't necessary to be cruel to her. Okay. I mean, you say dumb shit in a fight, right? And originally, I'm sure it was something that you did want when you were like, what, 3, 5? But now it's not, and she should respect that it's not something that you want to continue with. Like, she shouldn't force you to keep going and force them to keep having you if it's a mutual agreement. It's not like he's the one being like, no, well, yeah, obviously he doesn't want you there anymore, but he's not there like, no, you can't come. You've come to that decision. So why is that not okay? No, I don't think you're being the arsehole. Am I the arsehole for renting an apartment to my sister's disabled friend? I, 32 female, own a small building. I bought very cheap and fixed myself. I'm not a shitty landlord, my price is fair and I keep the building in good shape and fix any problems that appear. It's relevant that I don't accept animals in the building. I had an empty apartment, so I put an online ad and got a few candidates. As I was talking to my sister, 40 female, and commented that I was searching for a new tenant. I did my usual, showed the apartment and asked the candidates to fill out a form. One of the candidates that came was blind and he came with a friend. During the visit he commented that he had a service dog. I didn't comment that as per the ad. I did comment that as per the ad, don't accept animals. He informed me that since he is a service dog, it legally doesn't apply to his dog, and I said, okay, move the visitation for its end. Me, he automatically went to the last of the list. Besides not accepting any dogs, I have known at least 3 tenants who are allergic to dogs, and I won't inconvenience my already existing tenants. I made my choice and called the candidates to inform them of my choice. Later that day, my sister called me very upset. Turns out the blind guy is my sister's friend. She told me that her friend called, said he wasn't chosen and was pissed. In turn, she was mad at me and that he is a great, perfect tenant, and went on and on. I told her I just took the decision based on my impression and background check and had a candidate I liked more. She told me she promised the apartment to her friend, and I told her that it's not her property to make promises or a decision, and called her friend and apologised. I'm not changing my choice. This happened 3 weeks ago, and she wouldn't respond to any of my texts and calls. All this weekend we had a family party, and she gave me the cold shoulder all the time. Wow. Tongue twister. I do see why you could be seen as the arsehole for not accepting him purely on the basis that he has a service dog, because if that were the case that everyone did, then he's at more of a disadvantage than he already is. However, your sister did not communicate that it was a friend, and she probably should have. And it's your building. I think that you had another candidate that was more suitable anyway. I don't know, this one's tricky. I guess it's, like you said, it's not her property. She shouldn't have made promises. There's a candidate you like more, and you were out of the loop for the whole situation basically until she called you and was upset. I'm gonna go with I don't think you're the arsehole, but the whole situation seems kind of tricky and messy. Am I the arsehole for letting my 14-year-old babysit? Recently went on a date one night and left my 14-year-old, nearly 15 daughter with my 8-year-old, nearly 9. Left about 8 p.m. and came back after 12. I put 8-year-old to bed before I left, and the eldest was up. She had a phone and could contact me if an emergency. I have a Ring doorbell camera and their location on all devices, and I was about 30 minutes away. I checked them via text and they were fine, and came back and both were fast asleep in bed. I checked how the night went the following morning, and the eldest said that she just did her homework and went to sleep. Ex got wind of it, and now suddenly I'm the worst mum in the world who puts men over the safety of my kids. Was I wrong to leave them? I don't have a support system where I can just ask someone to babysit, and my eldest loathes the idea of a babysitter. She's sensible and mature and has been left with the youngest before for a few hours during the day, even by their dad. Is it different because of the time or because of the reason I went out? It kind of sounds like he's just mad because you're on a date. I think 14's old enough to babysit, especially with the youngest being nearly 9. I feel like the youngest is old enough that they don't need constant supervision by the oldest. Trying to think, when were we left? I mean, in terms of during the day, we were left when we were like 12 for a few hours, like the few hours between school and my parents getting home. I want to say I would have been like 12, and my sister would have been about 8. Though I can't remember if they waited until she was 12 as well. No. When we were 12 and 8, we were like just from like 3:30 to 5:30 or whenever my parents came home. But I don't think it's different because of the time. You had so many different safety features and parameters in check, and I don't think you're the arsehole for that. You know your kids. You know, like you said, the 12-year-old's very sensible and mature. She sounds like it, considering she did her homework and went to bed. And you know, the younger one was already asleep by the time you left. I think it's fine. I don't see any issue with it. Am I the arsehole for not letting my best friend bring his kid to my wedding? I, 31 male, I'm getting married in 3 months. My fiance and I decided on a child-free wedding to keep things elegant and stress-free. My best friend, 30 male, has a 4-year-old son, and he was upset when I told him the wedding was child-free. He feels insulted, saying that his son is practically family and that it's hard to find childcare. I explained that the rule applied to everyone, even our siblings' kids, and it's not personal. Now he's mad and might not attend, claiming that I'm making him choose between me and my son. Some friends say I should make an exception, but that doesn't seem fair. It's your fucking wedding. I don't think you should have to make an exception, especially if it's like the same for your literal siblings. I don't think you should make an exception. I don't think you're the arsehole. I understand child-free weddings. I think they're fair enough. Sorry about it, I guess. I don't know. But overall, not the arsehole. Am I the arsehole for letting my flatmate's car get towed? I'm currently staying with my family, and we've had a bereavement and haven't been home for about 6 days. As far as I was aware, my flatmate wasn't going on any trips while I'm away. A couple of days ago, I got a text from my neighbour asking me to tell my flatmate to move her car as he couldn't get out of our building's car park for work. I told him I wasn't home and asked what he meant. He FaceTimed me and showed me that my flatmate's car was in the space next to the entrance exit and was sticking out so much that it blocked the entrance exit more than halfway. Cars could not get in or out of the lot because of this, and her car isn't small by any means, it's an SUV. I texted her asking her to move the car and she left me on red for hours. I texted her again during this time and was continuously left on red. My neighbour had to get a ride to work in the end. Eventually I got a reply from her, "Oh yeah, I'm going to be out for a few days," and that was it. She didn't mention anything about her car, acknowledging my message about her car. Told her she was obstructing the only way in or out of the car park and asked if she could call her sister, who has a spare set of keys to her car, and ask if she could come and move the car. I was left on red for a few more hours until she responded she's sick. She didn't respond to any of my following texts and both sent me to voicemail when I called. Yesterday, the same neighbour called me and told me he had called a tow truck because the car had not moved for days and was still obstructing the entrance exit. I was pretty pissed with my flatmate and her lack of care for other people and told him to go ahead and tow the car. This morning I got a bunch of angry texts from my flatmate, cursing me out and calling me every name under the sun. When she was dropped home this morning, my neighbour happened to be out front, and when she saw her car was gone, she explained the situation and that I told him to go ahead with towing the car. I now feel bad because her car was the only way to get to work, but she was fine to let other people not be able to drive to work for days. Our friends are saying I could have come home early, picked up the spare keys from my sister and moved it myself, but I can't leave my family during a really rough time. Am I the arsehole? No, don't go home early from your shift. She's a flatmate, not a child. You're not the arsehole. I mean, the only thing I could say that you could have potentially done better in the situation is been out of it completely. And by that I just mean like giving your neighbour your flatmate's details and be like, hey, not my car, I'm out of town, here's her details, deal it with her. Yeah, her vehicle isn't your responsibility. Her car's not your responsibility. Shouldn't be on you at all. You've already gone out of your way to deal with it more than you should. By being the middleman, you shouldn't have to do any more than that. You're not the arsehole. But that was the last one. So on that note, I'm gonna love and leave you guys. Let me know what you thought about these. These ones were not as spicy as I feel like they often are. They were more short, sweet. And yeah, like, comment, subscribe, give me validation, all that fun stuff. And I will see you guys next week with another video. All right, bye.